I still remember the day I met her. It was raining, not the kind of rain that cools the earth, no. It was the kind that makes you shiver to the bone. I had just pulled over at a filling station on the outskirts of town. I needed to grab some bottled water before getting back on the road. That's when I saw her, a young woman, soaked, hair clinging to her face, holding a baby wrapped in a thin pink blanket. She was standing under the station's broken awning, trying to shield the baby from the storm. Her eyes were tired, like she hadn't slept in days. No umbrella. No luggage. Nothing. I walked past her at first. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the baby's soft, desperate cry. Maybe it was the way she held her like she was the only thing left in the world. I turned back. You alright? I asked. She looked up at me, surprised. Then, as if the weight she was carrying had finally become too heavy, she burst into tears. That day, I didn't just give her a ride. I gave her shelter, food, and a place to rest her head. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was a man with a simple life. Truck driving. Small apartment. Just me and God. But something about her, about that child, pulled me in. She told me her story days later. Her name was Lydia. She had gotten pregnant for a man who promised her forever and left her with nothing. When she tried going back to her family, they shut the door on her. You made your bed, lie in it, they said. She had been sleeping in bus terminals for 2 weeks before I found her, and the baby, her name was Zara. She was just 4 months old. I watched her grow from a baby who couldn't hold her bottle to a bright-eyed toddler who would run down the hallway calling, "Daddy, Daddy." I wasn't her biological father, but I was her everything. When she had a fever at 9 months and her body shook uncontrollably in the night, I held her to my chest, whispering prayers while rushing to the emergency room. When she turned 2, I taught her how to say grace before eating. At 5, I was there when she lost her first tooth. I snuck a coin under her pillow to make her smile. When she had nightmares, she didn't call for her mother. She called for me. I never missed a school play. I sat in those hard chairs, sometimes the only man among a sea of mothers, clapping louder than anyone when she came on stage. I paid for ballet classes, art supplies, swimming lessons, anything she showed interest in, I encouraged. I watched her scribble cards that said, "I love you, Daddy," with backwards letters and too many hearts. I still have those cards. When she called me her father, I didn't flinch. When Lydia and I eventually married, 2 years after we met, it felt right. Like we had earned it through fire and rain. People said I was too soft. That I shouldn't invest so much into a child that wasn't mine. But they didn't see what I saw. They didn't feel what I felt. Love, real love, doesn't care about DNA. Years passed. I kept driving trucks. Providing. Loving. Showing up, even when her biological father resurfaced. It started with a birthday card when she turned 16. Then came a few weekend calls. I watched as curiosity blossomed in her. I didn't stop it. I never spoke ill of him. I figured, maybe every child deserves to know where they came from, but I thought she knew where she belonged. Then came graduation. I took off 3 days from work. That's not an easy thing for a truck driver. Every day off the road is money lost. But this was different. I bought a new shirt. Got a haircut. I was ready. Proud, but when I asked Lydia about the tickets, she went quiet. They only gave us 8. She said, 8, okay, I replied. So, who's going? She hesitated. Then she told me, her mother, her 2 sisters, her uncle, her aunt, her grandma, Zora's boyfriend, and her father, her biological father. I felt the air leave the room. I couldn't speak. My ears burst. No seat, no space, not even a thought. The same man who didn't know how she liked her eggs, didn't know her shoe size, didn't hold her true broken bones and broken hearts. He got a seat. I didn't. I stayed home that day, while they laughed and took pictures and celebrated. I sat alone in the living room, watching the clock tick, dressed in the shirt I had ironed just for her. She didn't even call me. Not once. That night, I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, my chest aching. Not in anger, but in betrayal. So the next morning, I got up. Quietly, calmly, I removed her from my health insurance, took her off my car plan, closed every financial tie I had with her, not out of revenge, but because something had finally broken. I told Lydia, she's grown now. Let her go to the man she saved the seat for. Now, the house is tense. Lydia's been trying to talk to me, but I'm tired of giving 100% and getting crumbs in return. Zora hasn't spoken to me. Maybe she's embarrassed. Maybe she doesn't care. I don't know anymore, but I do know this: love isn't about the grand gestures. It's about showing up day after day. And I did that. I showed up, from the rain-soaked gas station to emergency room visits, from scraped knees to broken hearts. I was there, and in the end, when the seats were counted, I didn't matter. I don't want pity. I'm not asking for applause. I just needed to get this off my chest. Because being forgotten by someone you raised, that's a pain you never truly recover from. I still